what up y'all, Mr. Cruz here, your friendly neighborhood producer, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm answering a question that I've been getting a lot lately. Let's go. So I wanted to make this video because I get this question like maybe a handful of times a month, and I just feel like I'm always answering, so I just figured it'd be easier to make a video. That way when somebody asks a question, I'll just link them this video. But it's still a question that, like, if I could talk to my younger self, this is probably the stuff that I would say. So the question that I get asked is like, if you had to start from scratch, like if I had to start a YouTube channel or like start selling beats and anything like that, all of that from scratch, you didn't have an Instagram or Twitter, nothing, what would you do differently if you had to start today with all the knowledge that you've acquired throughout the years? So it really comes down to two things that I would probably do differently, more so two things that I would focus on and spend more of my time and effort on, as opposed to a bunch of other things that in the long run didn't hold as much value, or they just kind of like came naturally as time went on. So the first thing that I would definitely do differently is I would plan on being more consistent. Now, you probably hear a lot that like consistency is key and like, you know, always post something, always have a video and all this other stuff, which is very, very true. But what I think I took that as was that like, I need to post something every day, meaning that like, I need to have a new video, I need to have a new beat, all this other stuff every single day, which is not necessarily true. What I should have done is I should have planned for consistency based on my skill set and based on what I was capable of doing with the time that I had. I think when I first started, I was doing like 2 videos or 3 videos a week for like 2 years. So that's a lot if you really think about it, especially considering that at the time, you know, I mean, at the time I still do, but like I had a family, I have a family. What the heck am I saying? And I was working full time. So pretty much any single time that I was not spending with my family or working, I was doing that. And it was very stressful because it didn't leave a lot of room for leisure. You know, I didn't really get to have a lot of fun or hang out with my friends or, you know, sit down and watch a movie. There is something to say for like the hustle and the grind, but I was driving myself crazy, like overworking myself. So I probably would have stuck to like, okay, I'm gonna start with, you know, 2 videos a month. And then once I can get the editing of those 2 videos a month down to like, you know, maybe a day or 2, all right, then I'm gonna bump it up to 3 videos a month, and then 4 videos a month. And then as my skill sets improved and as like my quality and my workflow and all those things were streamlined, then I would increase my workload. So I would scale upwards in terms of like the content that I was able to put out, like the frequency, so that I can be more consistent and be able to put more content out for the people that were looking forward to it. In terms of making beats, because like the 2 main things that I do is like making YouTube videos and then doing beats. But with beats, it was a little bit different because I was committing myself to making 1 beat a week. The problem was that I would get so into my head and like so obsessed over the beat that like I would make the beat in one day and then I'd spend the rest of the week, because in my mind I got till Friday to finish this beat and post it. I would spend, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday editing and fixing things and tweaking things and moving things around, scrapping it and starting over. To me, that was a very bad practice to have in terms of making beats, because what ended up happening is I would upload a beat and it was still trash. You know, it was even worse than when I started. And once I got to a point a couple years later on where it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna make this beat, I'm gonna post it. If it sucks, it sucks. If the 808's out of tune, if it's not mixed properly, if like, you know, my arrangement is trash, I'm gonna put it out anyways. Like I did it out of frustration, and what ended up happening is that a lot of my friends started giving me feedback like, yo, that 808 is out of tune. And I just respond and be like, well, can you show me how to fix it? Can you, like, what am I doing differently? What am I doing wrong? And then I would learn something. And then the next beat that I made would have an 808 that is in key. My arrangement is messed up. My mid, like, yo man, your kick is too low. You gotta crank it up. Well, how do I crank it up without like killing my limiter? Here, I'll show you. And then so I started learning a lot of things from making these mistakes and putting them out there that I otherwise would not have learned, because I was so obsessive about putting out the beat perfect as I could, versus like, yo, just put it out and then learn it as you go along. So for me personally, like I learned so much as I went along, like over time. I got better. My mixes got better. My music theory got better. My ability like to chop up a sample and all this other stuff, those things got better. Those skills got better as I did more and as I practiced more. Not necessarily because like I sat there and I nitpicked and I obsessed over a beat for a whole week. Like I wasted a lot of time. So when it comes to making beats, in terms of workflow, I wish that I would have just like cranked out as much stuff as I possibly could and like get my template down, get my workflow down to being able to crank out a beat in like, you know, 30 minutes to an hour. Because that's kind of what I can do now, like aiming for a goal and shooting for that goal instead of giving myself so much time, like a whole week to make a beat, to put out a beat. Like that's a ridiculous amount of time. And then the other thing that I would do is I would focus a lot more on networking and marketing and branding. So all those three things kind of working in tandem, because in my mind, I thought like, oh, I'm just gonna put out good content and then people are just gonna find it. Totally not true. Definitely not gonna happen. You making the dopest beat that anybody has ever heard and then putting it up on like Instagram or SoundCloud doesn't automatically mean that you're gonna have loads of people like flocking to go see it and to go purchase it just because you put it out. Like that's not how it works. I wish that I had known earlier on that making the beat is like the easy part. Now I gotta shop it. Now I gotta share it with people. Now I gotta like go find artists who are buying beats and who are willing to pay for beats. I gotta go find them and then share my music with them. So I wish I would have spent a lot more time on doing that, because that would have increased my clientele base, which hands down would have like increased like my revenue, which would have increased my exposure. And then I would probably just be a little bit further along than I am now, but still the experience has been beneficial to me. So if I were to talk to 30-year-old Mr. Cruz, who's like deciding to like, you know, I want to take beats seriously, I want to take my music production seriously, I want to give it one more shot, that's what I would have told him. I would have told him, aim for a consistent goal, like a workflow and a schedule that you can keep to and that you can maintain, and then as you get better at those skills, increase the workload. And then I would have also told him, make the beat in one single day and then spend the next 6 days marketing it, networking it, shopping it to other artists, or finding other artists that are willing to like rap on the beat or that you can sell the beat to. Those two things I think are great foundations for anybody who's starting out in music. I mean, you can kind of relate this to like YouTube and stuff, like, hey, spend one day shooting and editing the video, upload it the next day, and then spend the rest of the week like sharing the video with people or like promoting that video. But that's what I got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll be replying and responding to every single one. Outside of that, it's your boy, Mr. Cruz. Out.